here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we have really been privileged to talk to a lot of great people over the last few hours. This guy is one of the best. He's our friend. He's Governor Deval Patrick of Massachusetts. Great to see you here.
Nice to see you.
The big thing I think that people are looking at in terms of Massachusetts is that you know what was left by Mitt Romney, 47th in job creation, infrastructure a mess. People need to know that story. What are you going to talk about tonight, and what are you going to talk about over the next couple of months about what the real Romney story is?
Well, that's a part of my presentation, Jeff, but tonight and elsewhere. But it's a small part. I think that, frankly, both campaigns have spent a lot of time with the one guy talking about the other guy, and we perfected our argument about what's wrong with Republicans. We should be talking about what's right with Democrats, and in particular this president and his record and his vision. So I'm going to spend most of my time on that, and I think it's a record that has been about bringing us together, about governing for the whole country and having common cause and common destiny, and not what's on offer from the other side, which is every man and woman on his or her own.
One of the things that we've talked a lot about on the program, you know, it's a Jeff Santos show, Rebuilding America, and one of the aspects, of course, is to put a lot of money in dollars, which you have done as governor, into wind and solar and alternative energy. This is something the president wanted to do, has been roadblocked by Republicans in Congress. Your thoughts about how, and maybe this is a topic tonight, about how you've been successful and how the president, with leadership that won't block in the House and Senate, can do the same thing for the country, which is so far behind the rest of Europe and the rest of the world.
Well, the president's agenda is emphasizes education, innovation, energy, as you said, and infrastructure, and which is another area that you and I have talked a lot about. And it's exactly the same agenda that we've had in Massachusetts, and we have been fortunate to have the cooperation of the legislature to give me the tools I've asked for to drive that agenda. And that's the reason why we're growing jobs faster than most of the rest of the country. It's why our state growth rate is twice as fast as the national growth rate. Our unemployment rate is well below the national rate. It's why we're #1 in America in economic competitiveness and student achievement and energy efficiency and veteran services and on and on. And I think the difference between what's happening in Massachusetts and what's happening nationally is that the president has not been as fortunate to get the cooperation and the tools from the Congress. I think that changes with the president's reelection, even if the personnel in the Congress doesn't, because I think the message goes out that the kind of obstructionist politics which the other side has played from the beginning of the Obama administration has been rejected by the American people.
Congress is at its lowest point ever. Mitch McConnell, one of the leaders, basically said his top priority, not education, not the economy, not foreign policy, but to make him a one-term president, President Obama, that is. With that sort of approach, is it now more than ever, and I think I've heard you say this in recent days, to go on the offense, on ideas, what we talked about with energy and infrastructure, and say, look, we're not here to sort of, you know, be Republican light. We're going to talk about the issues that I think that are important, that have made my state a successful state, you know, top 10 and so forth. Is that the approach that you would recommend?
I feel so strongly that we have to be making our argument for why people should vote for the president and not just why they should vote against Mitt Romney. He's a fine man. He's a great salesman. He is our experience in Massachusetts is that he was more interested in having the job than doing the job. We need somebody who's going to do the job. And when I look at a record like the president's, 4.5 million private sector jobs in the last 2 years, which, by the way, is more jobs than George W. Bush added in 8 years in office, the fact that he's delivered health care to every single American in every corner of the country after 90 years of trying, the fact that the war in Iraq is over, that Osama bin Laden has been brought to justice, that we are ending and winding down the war in Afghanistan, the fact that don't ask, don't tell is a thing of the past, that equal pay for equal work is the law of the land for women. Point to the American auto industry, the American financial industry for that matter. It's an extraordinary record, particularly when you consider that obstruction has been the centerpiece of the governing strategy by the other side. And so I think this is an important moment, not just for Democrats, not just because he's a friend of mine, but for the integrity of American democracy. And I think making that case to an inherently optimistic America, a pragmatic and forward-looking America is a winning argument, and it should be.
One final question. One of our affiliates, one of our best affiliates, is WCPT in Chicago, where you grew up, and obviously something you share with the president. What was that experience like for you, and how it has made you a better governor, and how does that move you forward?
You mean growing up in Chicago? Well, I grew up in Chicago in the 50s and the 60s on the South Side, as you know, and those were days, where a lot of us, a lot of things about a lot of us were broken. Families were broken, sidewalks were broken. I grew up, spent much of that time on welfare, but we had a very strong sense of community because it was a time when every child was under the jurisdiction of every adult on the block. People looked out for each other. They understood that notion of common cause and common destiny, and they were deeply patriotic, even in a country that some might have argued was not always paying proper attention to that part of the community. And they sacrificed in war, they sacrificed for each other, and they wanted a stronger future for their children. Well, why isn't that still the best of who we are?
We need to be more.
Yeah.
Governor, thank you so much.
Good to be with you. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks.